you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Bulldog here. It's time to talk some more Champions Arena. I am absolutely hyped about this game. I've been addicted to it, playing it non-stop, but I am not just a hype man here, and I don't believe everything is perfect about the game. I am super excited about it. I really do believe that this can be the first game that truly bridges the Web 2 and Web 3 gaming experience and actually hits millions of daily active users. The biggest game in Web 3. But there are some issues here that I really want to talk about, and I think there's some things that need to be cleaned up. Now, we've been out for 2 weeks, okay? The game is just getting started. It's expected that there's going to be some issues. So this is not a huge doom and gloom thing that some of these things are expected, but I do want to touch on them. And we're gonna jump into the biggest one right off the bat. No need to build up to it. Arena. Arena is the one that has been the most controversial. This is where the play to earn aspect is. If you have an NFT and you play an arena battle, you get victory points when you win. Now, right now we're in between seasons, so you're not getting any victory points for another 9 hours, as you can see the timer up there. But typically you'll get victory points, and then you get Gala based on the amount of victory points you get. You share in the Gala reward pool. So, kind of the issue that we've had though, is that this is really easy to automate, and there is the only thing limiting how much Gala you can earn is the amount of time that you spend playing. If you play 24 hours a day, you will earn more rewards than somebody who plays 2 hours a day. There's no diminishing returns, anything like that. Every battle is worth the same for you. Now, if you're playing at a higher level, things like that, it can be worth more for one person than another. But the more you play, the more you earn. And that becomes a problem when we come in here and match, because as you'll see, there's just an auto button you can hit. So people don't actually really have to play all the time. They can just sit here on their phone, hit matching, hop in, hit the auto button, and then let it run. And that's what we're seeing a lot of people do, and they just collect their rewards that way. So the devs issued a statement, and this statement is actually kind of the reason that motivated me to hit the battle. You can see I've got auto on there, so it's just going to play itself. All I have to do is click every 5 to 10 minutes and continue playing over and over again. So people have set up things like bots and stuff for it. So they made this statement, and this part right here is good. I'll put the statement on the screen. They plan to add a system to detect the use of any unauthorized programs, bots, etc. during PvP plays, and they're going to get rid of that. They're going to ban you for if you set those up, and that's a good thing that they're not going to allow for these automated programs. I worry that you don't even need an automated program. I mean, on a phone, I can build a manual program that tap the join button every 15 minutes, whatever the case is. So I'm worried that some of that might be kind of hard to detect. But regardless, my concern is actually a little bigger than that. And what really kind of triggered me for this to go on a rant the other day and to make this video is this opening sentence. We reward players for playing the PvP arena fair and square. It doesn't matter if they decide to stay up all night playing the game. It doesn't matter if they decide to stay up all night playing the game. My biggest fear is that we are not targeting the right demographic here. Because the type of demographic that plays these games, and I'm very familiar with it. This channel started on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is a Web 2, basically Star Wars version of this game. I played Marvel Strike Force, a Marvel version. I've played other games. You might be familiar with like your Raid Shadows and your Summoner's War, things like that. That's the demographic that we are targeting. That doesn't tend to be the demographic that wants to sit in front of their computer or their phone and play the game for 8 hours a day, for 16-hour days, for 24 hours a day. This is not an MMORPG that people want to go grind on. Those type of the players that want to play and grind all day are probably going to be playing more that type of game. The graphics here are great. This is a great game. The gameplay is great. It's not a sit in front of your phone and play it for 24 hours a day type game. And trying to make it that type, I think, is going to be a big mistake. And I know there's a lot of people that are not going to like this, but Web3 is filled with a lot of people who do like to grind 24/7. Some of them, no offense, are people in third world countries who are basically trying to make a living or side income or something like that, playing the games. Targeting that audience is not going to make this game a success. A lot of that audience is some of my biggest supporters. I really love you guys. I want you in the game. That is not the type of audience that's going to make this into a game with millions of players. The game that's going to make this, or the demographic that's going to make this game a success, is the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes fans. And I say that because that was the game I played. I mean, it's obviously not specific to that game, but that genre. A lot of those are players that are on the go. They don't necessarily have a ton of time to play. That's where all these games have energy systems. They have energy systems for a reason. It works. It's successful. People want to go in, log their daily time in the game, hit their max rewards or near max rewards, and feel that accomplishment that they got their daily grinding in without having to spend 24 hours. They want to do it in an hour, 90 minutes. I played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and the arena limit was 10 battles a day. And people complained that was too much time required in the game. There was a 5-minute timer, so at max they were 5-minute battles. People thought that was too much time in a single mode, an arena mode, in order to earn their max earnings for the day. That is the demographic we are targeting here. I'm not saying we have to have an arena limit. I think there's a bunch of different types of limits we can do. Fighter Tanks is a Gala game. They have a limit. You get decreasing rewards the more you play. So yes, it's not a hard limit. You can continue to play and continue to earn 24/7, but after 90 minutes, 2 hours, I don't know where the exact time frame is of that game. It can depend on how skilled you are as well. After a certain amount of time, you're not getting many rewards. You can hit the point where it's like, okay, I've mostly got my rewards for the day. I mean, I do like an arena limit because you can allow for refreshes with gyms, and that adds a gym sync, which is very, very healthy for the economy, very good for the economy. Have it, okay, you can play 10 arena battles a day, and then you can refresh, and you can get, for 20 gyms, you can add an extra battle, or whatever the case is, or it can scale up and get more expensive. Maybe it's 10 gyms to start, or 5 gyms even to start. Kind of like the idle rewards. You can claim 2 hours worth of extra idle rewards for the day, and the first one's free, and then the second one's 5 gyms, and then the next one's 20 gyms. Scaling like that for arena battles could be very, very effective. And you see here, I'm recording this video, I hit it on auto, I got a win. I didn't do any work, all I did was join. I hit one button to join. That's not necessarily the gameplay most people want. So anyways, I've jumped on my soapbox here for arena. But that's kind of the big thing, is that I feel like my concern is not necessarily that there's an issue here. It's that, because like the botting and things like that, they can put fixes in. They can always try to address that. My concern is the direction and the approach, and that we are not targeting the right demographic or trying to appeal to the right user base that's really going to help this game blow up. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. That's a little less controversial here, and that is Mayhem. Mayhem is a significant issue, or raids is a significant issue that needs fixed, but this is one that I'm very confident will get fixed in some fashion, and raids are going to be awesome. Raids are absolutely going to be awesome. So right now, one of the biggest problems is this right here. If you go in, and how many of you have seen this screen before? You get your raids. Yes, I beat the raid. What are my rewards? Oh, somebody else beat it first. Somebody else beat it first. I think that's a problem. Obviously, it needs to be fixed. There are a couple ways you can fix it. First, you could just have it, some people suggested, only allow one person in the raid at a time. You can't go in unless you know what's available. The problem with that is it can then be harder to join raids, and you're fighting people to get in. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I know I keep using that game, but it's my experience. And I think it's good to pull successful things from other games. There's a timer at the end of the raid. In this case, it only needs to be 5 to 10 minutes. Don't hand rewards out immediately. As soon as the raid's over, you block people from entering, and then you have about a 5 to 10 minute window where anybody who's already in the raid can finish up. And they can get their score, and they can still get rewards as long as they finish in that 5 to 10 minute window. And does that mean more people get rewards? And we have to reduce the overall rewards to balance the economy? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. If that's the case, who cares? I'd rather get fewer rewards in exchange for a better player experience. and more rewarding for my time, and I'm not wasting my time with no rewards. The other thing is finding these raids, okay? I don't need a 210 raid. I can't do anything here. But I can go in and get 1 contribution point, so I can actually still get some rewards, but that's such a bad gameplay experience. Hitting the button, jumping in, watching them beat the crap out of me, jumping back out, maybe doing 0 damage, and nowhere to collect rewards. That's just not a good experience. Make it so I can't even find that raid. And make it so more people can find raids like this. This right here is the perfect raid. Should be the perfect raid for me. It's actually not right now, because I can solo about a level 70-ish raid. This raid I can do a decent chunk of damage to, but I can't take it all out. So there's not much incentive for me to even attack, because I'm going to get rewards for finding it anyways. If I do half the damage, somebody might not even come in and finish. Or a higher level might come in and just finish the whole thing for me. And I don't feel like I necessarily contributed any, because they were going to finish it by themselves anyways. They were just going to blow through it. This could be the perfect raid, though, to work with other people around my level. It would be great if I could bring in other people around the same level as me, maybe my guild members, people from my friend list, whatever the case is, and work together towards this raid. And if we had 2, 3 of us, we could beat it, feel good about what we did, feel a sense of accomplishment. And that would be great. That would be a good experience. That would be a bonding experience with those that I'm playing with, instead of playing with random people. Maybe that could be even a building for the estate, is to allow you to see raids for those that are in your estate. So you could do it through the estate, you could do it through the friends list. Either way, it'd be great. It would be a great experience if I could find even, okay, estates have 70 people. Having 70 people work together to beat a raid, and not 15 people jumping in and doing no damage and 2 people coming in and beating the whole thing. But if you really had people working together where, okay, now if I find a raid and I go in and I do 1% damage, it doesn't feel that great for me. I'm not doing much. I'm not really helping out. But it would feel a lot different doing 1 to 2% damage if we had 70 people each doing 1 to 2% damage. And trying to get that raid down and working together and getting people on Discord, people tagging people, come in, join this raid, we need your help, get in here. That would be such a better gameplay experience. That would be awesome. That would make these raids epic. That would help with user retention so much by having these large groups of people work together to beat these raids. Don't even allow somebody with level 200 characters to come in and join this raid. Or make it so that the cost for them to join, like, it's not worth their rewards, or whatever the case. I don't know, but somehow make these raids fun and engaging, and that will really take this to the next level. Again, there are a bunch of different approaches. These are just a few examples. I fully believe they are going to fix some of these bugs in this raid experience, and it's going to be spectacular. Okay, it's already not bad, but we can really take things to the next level, and I'm excited about the potential that raids can become, because this can be the big part of the game that most people love, just going around doing raids with friends. Absolutely could be massive. All right, another thing. I think those are probably the 2 biggest. Number 3, I think is pretty important too, though. We need a way to specifically target characters that we want, champions that we want to farm. It doesn't have to be fast, but right now, okay, you can go to an estate and pay money. A lot of people, if you're free to play, can't even do this. You're just pulling random champions here, right? What if you decide that, okay, I don't want random champions. I want to choose. For example, for me, it'd be Vera. Vera's the one I really want. I want to get Vera. How do I get Vera? I can't. I can go buy her as an NFT on the market. Otherwise, hope I get extremely lucky pulling her. There's no way I can just come in and slowly work toward acquiring her every day. And I feel like that's something that kind of needs to change. We do have, I mean, we've got a shop over here where there's 5 characters a month where we could potentially convert shards into the character. But there's no way to even choose which shards you want. If we come here to the quest, we can choose every day. We get 2, I call them shards, I'm sorry, stones, soul stones. Still going back to my Galaxy of Heroes. It's 2 soul stones, but we can only choose ones that for champions we already have. So there's no way to actually get that champion. And yes, I understand the point is driving spending and getting to pay. It doesn't have to be quick. There needs to be some way we can work on getting the champion we want. Otherwise, people are going to get frustrated. They're going to get frustrated that I keep getting beat by Vera and I can't get her. There's nothing I can do to get her. I'll never have her. So something needs to be added there. Hopefully it will, but that would drastically improve the gameplay experience. Again, it can be slow. It's okay if it's slow. It just needs to be possible. And then the last thing I have, real quick. Some of us, a lot of us actually, but there's going to be a lot of casual players, but there's going to be a lot of us who love the stats. Okay, and maxing the champions, putting the exact type of gear that we want on them, customizing all of that, building teams, building strategies based on stats. And we have two problems with that. First, we can't see. We don't know what they all do. So here, defense. Yeah, defense decreases the amount of damage I take. How? Well, like, doesn't even have to be in game. It can be off game. Let us see the formulas, because I don't know. Do I want this piece of gear that gives me extra defense, or do I want this piece of gear that gives me HP? Right now I've got HP equipped because I went in and I did some battle testing and I found out that he's going to survive longer with HP, but that was in that specific battle. Maybe if you face a character with higher attack, that might not be the case, or like maybe that was in Sun, but if I go in Moon, it changes. Maybe that impacts my defensive stat, but not my HP stat, and that can change things. It could be different scenarios. Maybe it's different as you level them up, and the first bit of HP is better, but then eventually it becomes better to add defense, and there's all these things that I don't know. And for a lot of people, that's not a great experience, not knowing which one is better, and not only not knowing, but not having any way to find out. So I'd like to see more transparency in these stats, and then even when going into battles. Okay, Leopold has another ability here, his passive. His passive, he has a 35% chance of taking the damage himself when an ally with the highest attack takes damage. Well, if I'm going against an opponent's Leopold, and there's two attackers, I don't know which one has the best attack. I can very quickly look at their stats and see, I can see level, stars, HP, but I can't see attack. I can't see if we're going again. I mean, there's some champions that can be modded or it can be equipped different ways. Bolton's an example of an early game character that some people will build up as a tank and adds a bunch of HP and defense. Some people will make him into an attacker because he's got a decent AoE if you stack a lot of attack and stuff on him. Stack some crit chance. That could be, if I'm going against an opposing team, that could be different based on how I target that team. If there's a Bolton who's been loaded up for damage, I might want to go after him first so he doesn't stack up these stacks of stench. But if he's not a high attacker and he's been loaded up for defense, almost as a decoy, they want me to attack him first, so they load him up with all this defense. And I go after him, and now I'm attacking their tank first when I could have just ignored him. I don't have any information to make those decisions in game. You can't see those stats for your opponents in game. And that's something else that I feel like we could improve the gameplay experience, improve the strategic experience, or for those of us who really get into that, if we could change that. So anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know, especially on Arena. But what are the biggest problems you've had with the game? What issues would you like to see fixed? And do you want Arena changed at all? Do you want to be able to grind 24/7? Or do you want it to be changed so that people can get in their battles and be done, and it not be a play all day type of game? It's been a huge controversy. Discord's gotten a little heated from this discussion. I will die on this hill. I firmly believe that in order to go mainstream, I kind of hate that word mainstream, but to be the biggest Web3 game, to really bridge that Web 2, Web3 barrier, we need to have some sort of Arena limitations. We don't reward playing 24 hours a day. I'm even okay if you're able to play 24 hours a day. Some people don't like those limits because they don't like being told I can't play. I think there's enough things to do in Mayhem and elsewhere that it's not an issue. But I can understand that. But somehow there needs to be some limitations. or those who can't play it every day are going to feel like they're falling behind. They're going to get discouraged, and I don't think the economy is going to work overall. So hopefully we see some changes here. That was the biggest motivation behind me making this video. I kind of went on some rants last night, and hey, it happens. It happens. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support for the channel. Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more coming for Champions Arena. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Follow if you're on Twitter. Whatever platform you're on, I am all over the place. Go follow me on your preferred platform. I will see you guys later.